Hi and hello everyone. This is your presenter and facilitator for this video on data analysis expression text. Text is one of the most powerful language that is built for Microsoft Power Pivot, Power BI Desktop, SQL Server analysis services, tabular models. Let's discuss this. What is a text language? Text is a query language that is built for Microsoft Power BI Desktop, Power Pivot, and SQL Server analysis services tabular models. And what is its syntax? Just like Excel works with cell references or ranges, but text works with tables and columns in a table. For example, like in this, here we are calling a function distinct count, and we are selecting the table and the column to find the distinct count from it. Just like Excel, any formula or any expression starts with equals to sign. Text also everything starts with an equal to sign. Here the table is within the quotes, so you can see that sales was a table. You can remove the quotes, but if there are any special characters you have to put the quote sign across the table name. After this, when we are referencing to the column in a table, we have to put square brackets, so column name would come in the square bracket. The result of this expression will give us the unique number of customers that we have sold to. Now, there are two important contexts in DAX calculations, raw context and filter context. And it's very important to understand these two contexts because this will make things clear about how numbers are calculated, how expressions is calculated, and how the values are achieved. So in order to avoid any unexpected value, you have to be very clear about raw context and filter context. Raw context is about selected rows of a table. So whenever we are applying calculations on raw, the raw context is applied. In filter context, we take the whole table or we talk about the report. And that is why it is defined by the filters on a pivot table or visualization. So the whole table would be impacted or whole table would be filtered just like when we create the pivot table, then when we apply the report filters, that is the filter context actually. Let's discuss this with more details. Now, calculated column. Calculated column is, or maybe we can say that it's one of the good examples of raw context because all the calculations are applied row by row, from first row to last row within the table. For example, if we want to subtract cost of goods sold from sales and we want to get the margin or the profit calculated for each row, and each row has the data about product, so we can easily do this using the calculated columns. However, there is one drawback and that is quite big. Calculated column use RAM. Think if you have billions of rows, so that would like just turn down your computer or maybe make it like hang. So you need to consider this. A calculated column can be used as raw header or a slicer to analyze data in pivot tables and visualization. So this raw context can be applied within the filter context. So if you're looking to filter data according to raw, you can apply this raw context within the filter context. Or you're looking to do specific visualization on filter context, you can do this and use raw context within the filter context. This tutorial is about making your concepts clear and clean. I'll show you the examples also, but that will include demonstration of what we are doing actually now. So you will have a very clear idea about what we are doing and how we are doing things, and that will make it more attractive for you. Now majors. Majors, you can take this as an example of filter context. They are calculated at report level. They are not stored in data model and they are very dynamic. Like in calculated columns, they are calculated at the time when the calculated column is created and do not refresh unless the whole model is refreshed. So they are not dynamic. Majors are very dynamic and they do not get executed when they are created. They are executed in the report when they are being taken in the report view and applied into a filter. So they are very dynamic. And the calculations are done on in within CPU. So CPU processing is consumed. There are a number of calculations that can be done using measures. Measures, one of the important thing is do not apply to raw by raw calculations. They are applied to as a whole aggregated value. So they do not come into the data tab within the Power BI, the data tab that is on the left hand side. So there is a report view, data view, and model view. So within data view, when the measure is created, it would not be visible there. But when a calculated column is created, it would be visible there. Now let's continue. One of the important and most commonly used measures within DAX are sum, average, minimum, maximum. And if you are looking to iterate data raw by raw within the measures, we can use sum x and count x to create the table. So when do you use calculated column or measure? Measures are more powerful than calculated columns because through this you can compare values within different sales, different columns, and you can also calculate average and comparison with the prior year or any other column. So they are more powerful because they are at report level and they are very dynamic. They can also be applied with the raw context within the report filter level context. I hope now you have a clear understanding of text, um, calculated columns, calculated measures, raw context, and filter context. And these are very important to go ahead within DAX learning. May you have any queries, feel free to contact me. And for the upcoming video demonstrating this, you need to subscribe to my channel, and you can get in touch with me on Gmail. That my email ID is tag.kumail@gmail.com, and you can connect with me on Twitter, on Facebook. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.